So, Walt, what do you think about unions in college sports?
Well, this has been going on for a minute. 'Cause I remember back in the day with the Fab Five, that was one of their biggest complaints.
Yeah.
They're making big money for Michigan,
Oh,
University
yeah.
of Michigan, and they were like they couldn't even get gas for their car.
Yeah. I think when the Fab Five was at Michigan, um, the money that they received, as far as the athletic money for programs, I think it soared something like 90%. Not to mention, Michigan had just won a national championship. They had just won a Final Four in 1989, but the popularity of the Fab Five, just a few years later, it really just brought them through the roof. At the University of Miami, the college football program went through something similar in the 1980s, where the university, I mean, it was a pretty good medical. They had a pretty good medical and law program and things of that nature. But once they became the U, no, they exploited that football team to the fullest, because if you even looked in the course program objectives, you would see a picture of like Lorenzo Highsmith or Melvin Bratton or other, running backs.
Yeah. So it's been going on for a minute, and you look at that and you fast forward to now. There's a quarterback at Northwestern, and he's starting. He's trying to get a union going. Well, basically, the same thing. It's let me see, Shabazz Napier, a guard for the Connecticut Huskies, was talking about going hungry. They go on road trips and they're going hungry again. This has been going on. This isn't new,
Right.
They're saying that we make so much money for the university. How come they can't give us a little stipend or something like that?
Exactly.
Or let us get a job?
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, fine, we're going to pay you. How are we going to divvy up the money?
Right.
Because there's a 95% chance that the football and basketball programs, they make most of the money for the school.
Mm-hmm.
And lacrosse, the volleyball team, the swim team.
Oh yeah.
How do they fit in?
I mean,
you want to get down to the basics. These kids are getting a free education. What I mean, or they're getting a nice education.
yeah, it is a nice education, but trust me, it ain't free. I was a student athlete on scholarship myself, and man, oh no, believe me, you earn it.
Okay, but then again, how many of these athletes have no business being in school from the get-go?
Yeah, you do have that, but I think that once again is the university. That once again is the athletic department. A lot of times when you have that, that's the athletics department. Putting the meat of the talent that those kids provide on the courts and the fields, before the classroom.
Yeah.
I think Florida State. Oh man, they used to stay in some trouble in the late '90s, from the late 1990s onward. Dumbing things down, so to let guys on their football team sort of, just pass on by. And I believe the report that was done on HBO Sports. Yeah, it was on HBO Sports, and they exposed a whole lot. Like none of those kids were graduating. It was bad.
I mean, we can just probably, if we really, really dug deep, and if the NCAA had enough money, they could find serious dirt on every major university.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. Even the smaller schools.
They could find something Not they could, you know.
Even the smaller schools. I'm not going to put this athlete's name out there. But let's just say he had a big time pro career. And I happen to know another athlete who's from the DMV. He grew up in this area and he went to school with him. And the stories he would tell me were just outright hilarious. I mean, the stories he would tell all of us were just outright hilarious. Like, the university, they didn't, like, they would be hard on the other kids, you know, in the program and whatnot, but like with this particular athlete,
He was making money for the school.
he was making a lot of money for the school. He showed up when he wanted to show up. Now during season, whether whether it's football, baseball, wrestling, what have you, as a student athlete, you're supposed to be living on the dorm.
Campus.
You're supposed to be living on the campus. That is, unless you're playing baseball.
Oh,
And
okay.
it's still set up to where you're around other students all the time, even when you're playing baseball, because a lot of times in some of the baseball schools, depending, whether you're out west or down south, they'll set up like boarding house type things.
Right.
A lot of AAA athletes,
Right,
there are a
right.
lot of AAA athletes, and okay, so it's the same sort of deal. It's a dormitory. It's not, some luxury where, you have, a 4 or 5 star apartment away from the school.
Again, that's where the NCAA gets it starts to, get the investigation.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, but I think with the unionizing the sports, that's a tough one.
Yeah, it's tough.
I understand a stipend, but again, how you gonna divvy up the money? These kids, for the most part, they have an opportunity to get an education,
Yeah,
a major opportunity,
major opportunity, right.
and a lot of them,
As well as build up colleagues for this. That's what college is really about. It's
connection.
it's connections. It's setting up. It's networking and connections. One of the root words of college is colleague. And that kind of flies by everybody's head because
In athletics, they're trying to, what college athletics, what connects with them is a step to the pros.
a step to the pros, right?
And they're not thinking, okay, when you're 35 and you've played 15 years and it's time to retire, and you play and they didn't push you out, you did your thing,
Right.
you did well. They don't, they're not
Yeah.
long term.
I think most kids, for that matter, I'm sure nobody wants to end up, like Allen Iverson, crying to death at that podium, bearing his soul to the world, letting everyone know, this is what I do. This is all, I have been bred and programmed, to do, is just play ball. Nobody wants that. But
There are a lot of guys out there, they've been born and bred, they play ball, and that's
Yeah.
all they know, and they end up as an assistant college coach or a coach. They figure out this is all they know. And
Yeah.
there's a profitable way to take.
to take care of yourself for the rest of your life, yeah.
So again, you point your finger at these kids are so young. Who's the mentors? Who are their guidance counselors?
Yeah.
Who are they talking to?
Not to mention the fact that, you take your average 18, 19, 20-year-old kid,
They're stupid.
and right, you shove some money in their face. I mean, we all saw that with the 30 for 30 series on SMU.
Yeah.
I mean, they just got outrageous and so out of control that they were paying.
They had a payroll.
They had a payroll. They had a payroll, and it was on. Oh man, they.
Real deep.
I mean,
Real deep.
like if you're a starter, you get what was it? If you're a starter, you get something like $750 to $1,200 a month. If you're just a bench warmer, you get just crazy.
The joke on Eric Dickerson was once he went to the pros, he got a pay.
He got a pay cut, yeah.
But it's somebody, some trusted person has to explain to these youngins that Kevin Durant is special, and LeBron James and Kobe,
right?
And all these guys, one and done seems to be the thing. I remember I heard about the guard for the Chicago Bulls, Jimmy Butler.
Oh yeah.
And I heard there are people on Twitter, NBA players on Twitter, that harass him because he went to college for 4 years.
Yeah, just sad.
So we need to, again, that it's not new. It's been going on forever. But we have to change the culture and understand that you go to school and play ball.
Right.
You go to school and play ball.
Oh yeah.
And somebody. We don't have anyone that can, sit these kids down that they'll listen to and tell them, you go to school and play ball, and hopefully it'll click.
Right.
Have a plan or do something. They.
Yeah. So, plus, while you're in college, don't just travel with the team all the time. Get out there. Go places.
Mm-hmm.
When I was in college, that was the first time that I had ever. Outside of, going somewhere with my parents, that was the first time that I had ever got the opportunity to leave the country for the first time. Left the country, we went down into Mexico. And, being, your average kid from an American school system, it was a first-hand education that those books could not teach me.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that.
I think a lot of it is being young and stupid. Because I remember, former NBA player Patrick Ewing. I think he went back. He became an NBA union rep.
Yeah.
So I remember reading about him going back to school and studying up. And I think the first time around, he was just partying, and it didn't snap. It didn't. I guess he was just young.
Yeah.
And as he got older and learned, got to see life a little bit more, go through some things, it clicked.
Right.
And he was fortunate that he had probably the finances. The New York Knicks probably, helped him out a lot, and he took advantage of, he got the opportunity again.
Gotcha.
But a lot of these kids, hopefully, like Cam Newton, he graduated.
Yeah.
He went back and got his degree. And I think that happens a lot, and people don't talk about it. Players that, they come out and they eventually finish up.
Yeah.
And you don't read about it. But paying these athletes, that's a tough one because, how are you going to divvy up the money?
Yeah.
And again, these programs, the football, the basketball programs, the athletic department makes a lot of money for these major universities.
Right.
So that's a good one. It's a good one, but they should get a stipend.
Okay.
And they should get a little something so they won't, But then again, if they decide to give them a little something under the table, are they gonna? If they say you can give them a little stipend, this much, are they gonna just bite the hand off that? Because they're already, doing underhanded stuff already.
Yeah.
So it's the wild, wild west. How do you stop it?
Right. Gotcha.